الحمد لله رب العالمين وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله ولي الصالحين وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله خاتم الأنبياء والمرسلين اللهم صل وسلم على عبدك ورسولك محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن دعا بدعوته واستنى بسنته إلى يوم الدين وسلم تسليما كثيرا. Amma ba'd. All praises are due to Allah, the Lord of the world, and surely Allah is the friend and protector of the righteous. And I bear witness that Allah is one and has no partners, that Muhammad, the son of Abdullah, is his servant and last messenger. And may Allah constantly send peace and blessings to Muhammad, to his family and his companions, and all those who call to his way and practice sunnah to the day of judgment. As to what follows, فَيَقُولَ الْحَقُّ سُبْحَانَهُ أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم الله ولي الذين آمنوا يخرجهم من الظلمات إلى النور والذين كفروا أولياؤهم الطاغوت يخرجونهم من النور إلى الظلمات أولئك أصحاب النار هم فيها خالدون. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the second surah, Surah Al-Baqarah, 2 verses after Ayatul Kursi, after one of the most, if not the most important verse in the Qur'an in the protection against evil, the verse of the throne that describes the qualities of Allah and lets us know that Allah is ever watching us, letting all creation know that Allah is ever watching us. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala follows this up by saying and describing wilayah. And when we say Allah is Waliyus Salihin, the friend and protector of the righteous, Waliyul Ladina Amanu, the friend and protector of those who believe, it is more than the description when it is applied to human beings. We protect people in a physical way. We protect people in terms of their honor, in terms of their material property. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when connected with the idea of wilayah, if Allah is wali, then it is a different relationship than people have amongst themselves. And Allah tells us Allah is the protector of those who have faith. He will lead them forth from depths of darkness into light. And those who reject faith, their patrons are the evil ones. From light they will be led forth into the depths of darkness. They will be companions of the fire, wherein they will dwell forever. And so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is explaining to us more about wilayah. Imam al-Shawkani rahimahullah, in his tafsir Fathul Qadir, in looking into this verse, understood based upon other verses in the Qur'an and the Sunnah that when darkness is spoken of, when dhulumat is spoken of, it is not the physical darkness. It is not necessarily the darkness which is the absence of light, but it is the darkness that comes with ignorance, with doubt, and with the worship of false deities. And when Allah is speaking about nur, about light, He is not necessarily speaking about electric light, about the light that shines from the sun, but Allah is speaking about something deeper, about the light of knowledge, of hidayah, of guidance, and of faith. And so when Allah is wali, for a righteous person, for a believer, then He leads us, He gives us hidayah. He takes away the doubt inside of ourselves, and He leads us forward into a state of knowledge. And when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is speaking about those who disbelieve. أولياؤهم الطاغوت. Imam al-Shawkani, rahimahullah, looked upon this as the imams of kufr, as the leaders of disbelief, and the philosophers who come along with this, who lead us off the straight path, who take us out of the light of Allah and into the darkness of ignorance and doubt. And so we have seen from the beginning of time this attack coming against the message of Islam. That the prophets, may Allah be pleased with them and send peace to them, brought the light of Allah. They were human beings, but the hidayah, the nur, the ilm, the knowledge they were bringing was from above 7 heavens. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala used it to put light in the hearts of people, lights in society, lit up the world with knowledge. But those who would strive against that tried to cover this with the ignorance, with the rebellion of kufr. And this has constantly happened throughout time. It has been the duty of the Anbiya, alayhimus salam, of the prophets and the messengers, to bring the guidance and to show in a practical way how this light can be applied. And this attack continues on the Muslim world today. And we find it inside of the Muslim Ummah and on the outside. The attack coming not only to divide and conquer, which is an old tactic, but to confuse and conquer. And so that if there is a mass of Muslims living in an area, and they are so confused that their leaders are striving against each other, that their scholars are in submission to the leaders, that forces of evil even are speaking and guiding the leaders, giving them permission, telling them when to go to the right or when to go to the left. This is a state of confusion. And the masses of the Muslims, needing to have the leadership, needing to have this hidayah in a practical way, also find themselves in a state of confusion. And so although the mass may seem great, the power of the mass will be very insignificant, because the leadership is not there, and the direction of the mass is not in the direction of the hidayah, but it is standing still, and it preys upon itself. Instead of standing to the enemy, it stands against itself. Instead of having izzah for the kafirin and dhillah, being humble for the mu'mineen, it's the opposite. The strength is against the believers, and the humility and the weakness to the disbelievers. This is part of the condition that we find ourselves in today. And so it is of utmost importance that all of the Muslims, not only those who are in Islamic universities, not only those who want to dedicate their life to the knowledge of Islam, but all of the Muslims should have knowledge of their faith, male and female. That we should all know halal and haram. That we should all involve ourselves in study circles. We should all try to learn the classical Fusha, Arabic language. Try to know what the Quran is saying. And so then when the leader comes and leads you astray, in submission to the enemies of Allah, then you know you are being led astray. But if you do not know you are being led astray, then we become like sheep. وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ. And we can be taken to the slaughter while we are thinking that we are being taken for something to drink. O you who believe, recently a number of articles have appeared in the presses of the world. And it is a continuation of the policy to confuse Muslims and to confuse those who would want to be Muslims.